Video games would be nothing without the companies that make them. And now I'm listing down my top 10 favorite video game companies ever. Now let's get started on this road. Number 10. Sega. No matter which way you look at it, Sega was, at least at one point, a really great video game developer. Not to mention they made so many fantastic video game systems such as the Genesis, the Master System, and let's not forget the Dreamcast. Let's also not forget they made Sonic the Hedgehog. I put this company pretty low on the list because they've really been abusing the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise a lot. Number 9. Atari, makers of one of the most famous video game consoles ever, the 2600. While not the first video game console, it was the first one to make the video game industry popular, and at the same time, unpopular. In 1983, the 2600 released a lot of bad games like Pac-Man and E.T., but before that, there were so many great classics, like Pitfall. Plus later, Atari made some really dumb decisions, like the release of the Atari 5200 and the Atari Jaguar, which was 64-bit, but it was really a bad console with bad games. But what I love Atari best for is the creation of one of my favorite video game franchises, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Number 8. Activision. I love this company so much. Remember that Pitfall game I mentioned earlier? Well, look who made it. That's right, Activision. That's one reason why they're awesome. Some other great franchises include Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Call of Duty, and Guitar Hero. All of these franchises I love, but sadly I don't own any of these games. While never really in the console business, Activision never turns down the chance to make another fantastic game as a third-party developer. Number 7. Electronic Arts. EA just keeps on shoveling out the fantastic games. Whether it just be because of its great controls or it's just fantastic to fun to play, but games like Medal of Honor, Madden, Mirror's Edge, Rock Band, and the lesser known but equally as awesome, Future Cop, all the games are just fantastic to play. I've yet to play an EA game that I don't like, and this is just a fantastic company and just a great place for number 7. Number 6. Square, the role-playing pioneers. Well, I'm not really a fan. I just had to put on the list because they just pretty much invented the RPG with the original Final Fantasy on the NES. Along with other fan favorites like Final Fantasy VII, the weirdest crossover of all time, Kingdom Hearts, and Super Mario RPG. While I've never played any of these games, they're just so widely acclaimed that I just had to put Square Enix on the list just because of these games. Number 5. Midway. You could also call this a pity vote since they're pretty much out of business, but they were gods of the arcade, releasing games like Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam. But the two Midway games I remember the most is Slugfest Loaded on the PS2 and NFL Blitz in the arcade. NFL Blitz 2000 to be exact. But the main reason I love it so much is because there's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer on the cover. Whoa, I never thought I'd see the day. Number 4. Konami. There's not a lot more to say about Konami that hasn't already been said, so I'll just focus on 2 quick franchises. Contra still happens to be one of my favorite NES games. It's a shoot-'em-up where you fight aliens and other humans. It's a whole lot of fun and pretty much revolutionized difficult and really fun run and guns. And Metal Gear Solid I really haven't played much of, but it was pretty revolutionary. I've only played a little bit of number 4, and I pretty much enjoyed it. Those are 2 very epic and awesome franchises that are good enough to put Konami at number 4. Number 3. Capcom. Mega Man, Street Fighter, Strider, Devil May Cry, Capcom vs. Resident Evil. Do I really have to say anymore? Capcom just freaking rules. Number 2. Valve. I bet you didn't think this would be on the list, or at least not this high, but I just love Valve. Their fame really started with Half-Life on the PC, and it continued, so they make franchises like the class-based shooter Team Fortress, the great zombie shooter Left 4 Dead, let's not forget the undeniable genius of Portal. Number 1. Come on kids, say it with me. Nintendo! Nintendo were the heroes of the video game crash of 1983, releasing the Nintendo Entertainment System that rose the video game industry back up, also releasing other great consoles in the future, like the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, and of course, the Wii! Then of course there's all the legendary franchises like Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Pokemon. Nintendo is just full of genius and is probably never, ever gonna stop. So, that's my list. I'm the Smash Bro. Goodbye, peoples.